Hello my dear friends, hope you all be fine and doing well. Thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you so much for joining in your channel. My dear friends, today I brought you a very fantastic video. In this video, I'm going to show you a trap that it is barely happening, but it is important that you should know this trap and you are going to use in your games. Especially the three first moves of this trap is fantastic, and I am widely using this opening. And after that, it depends upon to the reaction of your opponent. So without wasting the time, let's get started the game. So my dear friends, in here you just simply push the pawn into e4. Now your opponent is pushing the pawn into e5. Especially the majority of your opponents, they are pushing the pawn into e5 because he also wants to have control in the center, as you want to have control in the center. So after your opponent pushed the pawn into e5, so now you just simply push the pawn into d4. Now your opponent is capturing your pawn. So in here you have this option to capture this pawn by your queen. But in here you should not capture it by your queen, and you just simply push another pawn into c3. Your opponent is simply capturing your pawn, and you know the answer. So in this position, if your opponent is not capturing, so you are going to capture it. So that's why your opponent is going to exchange his pawn, and also he is now up one pawn. So in here also you have this option to take, but you should go for your own traps that is going on in your mind. And in here the best move is to activate your bishop into c4. Now your opponent is capturing another pawn. Now you should simply capture it by your bishop. So my dear friends, up to this position you should analyze the entire game, and you see that you sacrifice 2 pawns in here, but you have full control in the center. You just look to your bishops, how they are standing and targeting your opponent's castle. And also your queen is active, and also you have control in the center. But from other hand, your opponent is not in appropriate position. In this position, white is much more better, even though white is down 2 pawns. But the position is very good for white, so therefore it would be very fantastic game for white pieces. So my dear friends, up to this position you should keep in mind that you should play like this, and I usually play this game with this opening, and I have lots of victory in these positions. From this position onward, your opponent has different options to play, and you also should take care and be careful with every moves, because up to this position you got your priority, and from this position onward, if you think lots of tricky systems would come in front of you, and you should not allow your opponent to escape from your hand. The trap is happening when your opponent is taking his queen. But in here I am just giving an overview if your opponent plays other active moves. After that I am going to the trap. Just for 1 minute I am taking your time. So my dear friends, for example, in here if your opponent gave you a check, you just simply cover this check by your knight. If your opponent accepts this, so definitely you are going to capture the bishop. For example, if he do anything, so just simply you have to sacrifice your bishop, and your opponent is capturing. So in here you are giving this check, and also if your opponent goes back, so simply you are capturing the bishop. In this way you can damage your opponent's castle. Now your opponent cannot go castle. So this is one idea you can play in this opening. So the other idea, my dear friends, if your opponent take his knight into f6, so in here you just simply take your knight into f3. For example, if he catches, so simply you have different options to play, and the best one is taking your queen into e2 and also attacking this knight and pinning the knight. So now you have different options to play. So that's why I'm going to tell you, up to that position you have different options to play, and it was just an overview. If you think a little bit with yourself, definitely you are going to punish your opponent badly. So you have to think with yourself, and you have to use from each and every opportunity that is coming to you. So my dear friends, not going to waste the time, just going to jump in the main lines that your opponent is playing. So on that time, how you should trap your opponent. And you should also have this idea with yourself that if your opponent plays like this, so you have different options to give the answer of your opponent. Let's get started the main lines. Coming back to the main lines, and here I said that your opponent has two options: taking out the knight or giving a check by his bishop. And the other move that's possible that your opponent is doing, and that is taking his queen into g5 and also attacking to your weak pawn. So you should be careful about this move as well. And here, my dear friends, you are trapping your opponent by taking your knight into f3, and you are allowing your opponent to capture the weak pawn. So in here, your opponent is going to capture your pawn. So in here, you are just threatening your opponent's queen. So your opponent's queen cannot move anywhere, so he has only one square to go. But in here, before going to that place, he just going to activate his bishop just simply by giving a check. So when your opponent is giving this check, so there is no pawn in this side that you should push or cover. So definitely your opponent analyzes the game and sees that your pieces are active. Somehow he is activating his pieces in here. But in this position, my dear friends, you just simply take your king into e2. Now your opponent has only one option and one square for his king, and that is h3. Now you just simply capture the pawn by your bishop. So in here, your opponent cannot capture your bishop because you have this fork and attacking to your opponent's king and queen. Wherever he go his king, so definitely you are capturing the queen. So this is not a good idea for your opponent. If your opponent decides to go into f8, now you are capturing the pawn and attacking to the rook and king. And here your opponent has only one option to capture your bishop. Again, this fork is coming and he is losing his queen. So that's why it is not a good option for your opponent. And now your opponent has another option after giving this check. So in here, your opponent is deciding to move his king into d8. Now you are taking this pawn and attacking to your opponent's rook. And here your opponent is seeing that his rook is under pressure and his knight is under pressure. So he cannot save his rook, but he can save his knight. So therefore, he is going to save his knight. But in here, you have to attack to your opponent's queen. And here, your opponent cannot give this check because you have bishop in here. So therefore, the best move for your opponent is capturing this pawn. This is the only option. But in here, my dear friends, you have checkmate in only one move. Can you find it? Please pause the video and find the checkmate in only one move. Yes, my dear friends, checkmate by your knight. So in here, your opponent cannot go because it is controlled by your bishop and by your knight. And also, your opponent cannot take your knight by his pawn because it is pinned. So thank you so much, my dear friends, for watching this video. If you like the videos and the contents that I am making, please subscribe the channel, share it with your friends, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. So whenever I'm uploading a new video, so you should be the first one to watch the video. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.